Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we will be discussing American Horror Story, My Roanoke Nightmare, episode 2. So I did recently post up the video for a recap of episode 1. I was really late on that draw. This time I'm still late, but not as late, so I'm pretty proud of myself. Pat on the shoulder there. Episode 2 came on Wednesday. And this episode picked right up where we left off with her still in the woods. And while she is in the woods, she's like still trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. And the guy with like the fucked up head is still there. And then some lady like has this skull and is like, hey. And so that was weird. And Kathy Bates is like saying some weird shit to like all the other people. And they like see that the lady's like hiding behind a tree. She's like, sees her, and then all of a sudden she's like in the street and like passes out, and the sister-in-law happens to be the person to almost run over with the car. And so they take her to the hospital, and so after they get her back home, now it's really weird because I would think that she would still believe that some weird shit was going on and like want to leave the house, but instead it takes a weird turn. And she's like, oh no, like they're not gonna win. They're not gonna scare us out of our home. We're staying. Even though her husband was like, we'll get out of here. So, I don't know. That was really confusing to me. I mean, I just saw a guy's skull. Like, I'm out. Whatever. Okay. So, the daughter-in-law, this part confuses me because I didn't know that the sister was living with them. I thought she was just there because the wife was like seeing stuff, but it seems like Angela Bassett's living with them now. I don't know, because her daughter, it's like her week and to like keep her, and the daughter comes to the brother's house. Like, don't you have your own house? Like, why does she have to come here? But whatever, that confused the shit out of me. And so the daughter comes to visit, and her and the ex-husband, of course, have like a cold encounter, and he leaves. And so the daughter's like eating her snack, and then all of a sudden, I think she like runs off and is like talking to somebody, and the mom's like, who are you talking to? She's like, my friend Priscilla. And the mom's like, who's Priscilla? She's like, oh, like a little girl with a bonnet. And she says she'll make me a bonnet too if I make the pain stop or make it go away or some shit like that. And the mom's like, okay, but she's saying that it's because the daughter's kid of divorce and that's like what they do. I don't know if that's what they do. So then they're like sitting down, all of a sudden the vase breaks, and when she goes to get to the vase, she finds a bonnet. So she's like, oh, that's weird. That's such a coincidence. Which we all know in American Horror Story, there are no coincidences. Okay, so then it's like in the middle of the night, and the wife hears noises again. Now this time, because like I said, I thought she was going to switch it to fuck this house, let's go. But instead, she's like, no, they're not going to punk us. So she like hears noise in the middle of the night, and instead of like waking her husband up like, oh my god, something's going on again, she like goes and gets a bat like the boss ass bitch that she is, and goes outside to be like, who's there? Like, I'm not afraid of you. What's going on? And so her husband follows her out there, and they get like separated somehow. And when they get separated, they end up like looking for each other or whatever, and they're like, oh, that's how fast you can get lost in the woods. And they come up to this fire, and it's like a pig like set up like demonically, and it's on fire, and so they're like super freaked out. But this time when they call the cops, of course it's still there. So this is like real. It's not just, you know, in their imagination, or they can't like chalk it up to, oh yeah, my wife's just losing her mind. Like, no, there's really a burning pig. And so the wife gets like hella hypey, and she's like, what if it would burn our house down? Like, motherfucker, do something, you know? And so then the cops put someone outside of their house to like watch and make sure that nobody comes back. So then, after that happens, the husband is like, so now they have a cop outside the house, right? So they feel more protected. So they're sleeping, and the husband like wakes up because the phone's ringing. And he's like, okay. So he goes and he answers the phone, and on the phone it was like, make it stop, they're hurting me. And he's like, hello? And he realizes that the phone isn't even plugged into the wall. It's like cut. And then he puts the phone down, but he still hears the talking. So he like walks to the room or whatever, and he sees these two nurses and this like old ass lady in the bed. And so the old lady is like telling them, no, like the medicine makes me sick. And the lady's like, does that sound like, what'd she say? Does that sound like insubordination or some shit like that? And he just fucking like shoot her in the head, the old lady. Like, Like, boom! And I was like, fuck. And then they start spray painting on the wall at M, and they're like, M, this is for Margaret. Like, shit. And so then the husband goes crazy, and he's like, fuck, like, help her. And he goes outside and goes to tell the cop. Of course, when the cop comes back inside, it's not there, you know. And so then the end of the weekend's over or whatever, and the ex-husband's coming back to pick up the daughter. And so he comes to the house, and he walks in, and they're like, oh, is she ready? And the mom's like, oh, well, her stuff is ready, but she's playing hide and seek. Apparently, this badass little girl got a game where she'll just start fucking playing hide and seek out of nowhere and don't tell her parents. So they're like, and the mom's like, her favorite part of it was trying to figure out how long it would take for us to notice she was hiding. Like, so basically, she's like, ooh, I wonder when my parents will, like, fucking pay attention to me and see that I'm not around and then come look for me. Like, that's kind of fucking fucked up, but whatever. And so they go, and they're looking for her around the house, and they can't find her. And then they end up hearing, the mom hears her talking, and she's hiding in this, like, tucked away thing in the wall. And when she opens it, she's like, who are you talking to? She's like, Priscilla. And she's talking, I was trying to give her my baby doll so that she won't kill us. She's like, what? She's like, yeah, she's gonna murder all of us and save me for last. And I'm like, fuck, Priscilla, I thought you were nice. Like, I thought she was gonna give her a bonnet and, like, be friends and shit. And, like, now she's trying to kill her? Like, what the fuck, Priscilla? Whatever. So then the dad, like, storms out the house. He's like, she's never coming back here. I'm calling the judge. And so the mom's, like, having a fucking mental breakdown. And so she ends up drinking because, like, as we all know, she was addicted to painkillers and was, like, an addict. And so she falls off the wagon and gets, like, super sad. And then, yeah, so that was really sucky. But all along, like, they all know the shit's been popping off in this house. Like, I would be really fucking concerned about Priscilla. Not just thinking, oh, she's a kid of divorce. Like, that's some fucked up shit to say, you know? So then the sister is, like, laying in the bed because she's, like, super hungover or whatever, and then she sees those two nurses, and they come up, and she, like, gets scared, but of course she thinks she's, like, half hungover and, like, losing her mind, so she's like, shit. So then she gets up, and then they show the husband and the wife, and they see this little girl in the woods. It's fucking Priscilla. So Priscilla leads them to look in the cellar. So they look in the cellar, and while they're under there, like, the sister-in-law is still in the house, like, having all weird shit happening because she keeps seeing stuff. She saw, like, the pig man, and she sees, like, these, like, I think it's, like, cow tongues, like, on the wall or whatever. I think that's what they were. I couldn't really tell. It's kind of weird. And while they're in the cellar, they find this video. And so that's where shit really starts getting interesting. So on the video, there's this guy that lives in the house right before them, I think, in, like, 1997. And he's like, this is my last will and testament, and this is the story of what, like, happened in this house. And so he goes into this whole story about how he's a teacher or professor, and he moved into this house to, like, do research on a book that he's writing about these two nurses that were murderers. And they worked in, like, old people places and would, like, kill the patients, but they, like, quit their job because they didn't want to get caught up. And then they bought a house, and at that house they opened up, like, a living facility for these old people. And they, like, had old people live at the facility. So, but what they would do is, like, they chose people whose family members really just wanted to fucking get rid of them because they're old. And they chose them specifically by the first letter of their names. And so they would kill them one by one. And every time they killed one, they would put their letter on the wall. And it ended up smelling murder. But they got caught before they can get the R. So it only said murder. Murder. Like that. And so, yeah, so that was the whole story of it. And he's like, yeah, and they thought that they just got away with it and just left. But I know the real story. I know that something in this house was more evil than them, and got it. And he's like, goes in the house to try to, like, do some shit, I don't know, and sees something weird, and they get scared, and the video cuts off. So, like, dummies, they try to call the bank to be like, hey, you sold us a haunted house, like, you guys didn't tell us. And they're like, no, well, I mean, the house for auction. You sell it as is. And then all of a sudden, the sister-in-law fucking returns, but with her daughter. And we just saw the dad be really mad. So we're like, how is she with the daughter right now? She kidnapped her. And so then the brother-in-law, ex-brother-in-law, the sister-in-law's husband, ex-husband, calls and is like, is she there? And the wife is like, yeah, she's here. Don't call the police. Don't get them involved. Just come and pick her up. Come pick up Flora. And let's just handle it that way. And so he's like on his way to get Flora or whatever. And so then the mom is like, okay, I'm going to go tell her bye. And they go to look for her and Flora's gone. And the front door's open. It's like, fuck. So they're running through the forest. Here comes the damn forest again, or the woods or whatever. And they're trying to find Flora. And it ends with like the mom screaming and they look up in the high ass tree and Flora's jacket is hanging from hella high up. And that's it. And then the episode just ends. You're like, how the fuck did her jacket get up there? Like, so was it? I don't know. Hopefully they didn't kill Flora in the second episode. That'd be pretty devastating. But I mean, you never know with this show, right? So yeah, that was pretty much it. So let's see my fun tips and tricks that I like to throw out there. So for one, if your kid starts talking about a bitch named Priscilla that's trying to kill her, do a little bit more digging. Do a little bit more digging. Don't just like chalk it up to, oh, my kid has an imaginary friend, because generally imaginary friends are like big ass plush snowman named like Bobo or some shit, not like Priscilla, the little girl with the bonnet that's trying to murder me. So let's just like kind of, just kind of further research on that one. Number two, if you've been afraid of your house this whole time and now your husband's like, okay, let's go, bitch, go. Don't just be like, oh no, they're not gonna punk us. They're not gonna make me scared. Yeah, they are. Oh fuck yeah, they are. I'm out. Like, we're good. I saw some shit in them woods and I'm not trying to see it again. And it's not like their house isn't surrounded by the damn woods, because it for sure is. You know what I mean? You never know what's out there all the time. Thank you guys for watching. Next week I will try to do this on time and not 2 days after the fact, and record my recap and review on episode 3. Bye. See you later.